It's usually the first venue you think of when you want to have a show.
We all come from the underground scene. All these like small intimate spaces are very important to us.
Yeah, so we're going to Substation right now. A lot of fond memories there.
And the space is really like kind of freeform because essentially it's just a empty room.
Yep.
And you can basically set up, you know, if you were organizing a show there,
any way
you could
want,
organize it any way you want. This used to be like a street. It was not like
not paved. Like,
not paved and like blocked off.
It was a road, essentially.
Yeah, just a road that went through all the way, and there used to be a lot of gigs here on the street. Not just the inside, but like the outside was part of the performance, I guess.
Which was very cool because I mean, it's almost like an evolving space that's just like, you know, it can be whatever you want it to be, right? Like what you were saying earlier.
Back then, since SCAPE was having like weekend trip and stuff like that, it was very cool because like artists were not performing on such a huge platform, but yet like there were a lot of people supporting it.
As a promoter and as an artist, it's a space for us to be able to just put out our ideas and like where it's not being accepted anywhere else. So that's somewhere or something that a space is for us. Just somewhere to be free.
I guess Home Club was a place where new and upcoming bands can play shows and use it as a platform to grow their fan base or their following, and also to test out new material. It was basically a small square stage with subpar backline. You don't have to worry about getting equipment because you know you'll be there.
There was Identity every Friday night. And what I love about that lineup was there was always diverse. Like you can have a cute teensy pop act right next to like heavy metal act.
I think a lot of bands have done fundraisers here, and I think that was really important as a young band. Like there was no way to like generate money because you can't tour. So you know, like if you wanted to go overseas and play, you needed to do a fundraiser. So I think that's like the kind of memory I always keep with me, that like if not for this place, that it would never have happened.
So now we're going to the main space of Substation. I think it used to be called the Guinness Theatre, probably quite a while back. Yeah, so this is like where most of the things that happen in Substation actually get staged. The stage will be right there. You can have like theatrical performances here, gigs here. You can even have like more experimental performance art pieces here where you combine different media and stuff like that, and different I guess practices. To me, that's like super special because it allows the artist to say what they want to say and express what they want to do, express what they want to express in their own, completely in their own words, you know.
Or I feel also to take risks.
Yeah.
Even when booking shows with Disrupt and Third Eye as well, we usually gauge like the crowd expectancy.
Our crowd isn't really like really big, so we have to look for somewhere that's right in between in terms of venue sizes and capacity wise. So somewhere between around 150 to 200 people max.
It used to be like before Big Duck, when I wanted to try and get a show running, I wouldn't do it because the cost just won't justify what we wanted to do. We won't be able to make any money back. But now with these smaller venues and spaces, I can book a show and still make enough money to book another show with a profit afterwards. So I'm very grateful to be in this time, and I think it's only going to get better.
When I started going to like proper hardcore shows, it was quite violent, honestly. It was like for hardcore shows, like last time it was like controlled violence, but it was still pretty violent and aggressive. Compared to now, it's more tame, which is better lah. I mean, like, people were just picking fights. Like, there were a lot of fights happening last time.
Like Adel was saying lah, you know, you come here to play, it's really about the performance of it and just like safe space to try new stuff, as you were saying. Not so much about like I gotta have the best gear with me.
Yeah, it's also more than the equipment, it's actually the people in the club. You know, they are always so like nice about, you know, when you're a new band, you know, they're still pretty chill. They try and help to give you the best sound possible. Over the years, you know, the sound guys changed, but it's always a similar kind of experience.
Somehow always a joker.
Yeah.
It's always
That's true.
it's always a joker on the soundboard. Yeah. I honestly remember easily like one show a week here.
Right.
Back in like I don't know, back in the day.
Substation itself, I fondly remember all those gigs with like, you know, 10 to 15 bands.
Different mix genre
starting
shows.
at like noon until
Yes.
like, you know, like 10 p.m. or something, 11
yeah,
p.m. and then you
yeah.
catch the last train home,
Yeah.
you know. And that's like everything from like ska to
political punk
like
to
twee
hardcore
pop
to like screamo.
yeah, everything. And I feel like that's really unique because one day you pay like a certain amount of like what 10
I think 10
bucks,
or 12
12
at
bucks,
the most. Yeah.
and then you get like an entire day of like
Anything, all.
anything you want to listen to. And the thing is like you will see like metalheads listening to indie pop, you know, and
Yeah,
it's
vice
it's-
versa.
And it
Yeah.
goes, it's like everyone just listens to everything because you just want to listen to music and have a
Yeah.
good time, right?
Thank you, good night.
I went to my first local show in 2008. That was Weekend Trip at SCAPE. So then like when I watched that show, I was like super inspired to play in a band. It was quite crazy because like I've never seen people react to a local band the same way they will react to an overseas band, an international band. Like literally the crowd energy was the same as when I watched Fall Out Boy at Indoor Stadium. Honestly, like everyone was just like shouting, jumping, stage diving, and I was like, I don't know, 16, 17, I was just like it's like I was just mind blown.
It was my first time hearing like every single person in the crowd screaming lyrics and like going berserk at a local band, which to me was like the coolest thing ever, and it kind of gave me some kind of hope like, hey, I was seeing not bad, yeah. Like this is really something.
Like a super important part of all these like art spaces is the people who fill it up. You will see people who are like new to the whole gig scene.
Yeah.
People who are like veterans, people who,
All kinds, yeah.
people who aren't even musicians, people who are artists,
Sometimes
DJs,
people, or
you know?
even like passerbys.
Yeah,
I've even
yeah,
met people just passing by and they're like, you know, they hear it and they come in.
and they come in, and I think that makes like a very interesting kind of dynamic because everyone feels like you're in the same kind of plane, you know, you're at the same level.
Yeah.
Whether you're actually playing that day or you're just watching
Yeah,
it, you know.
yeah.
I think everyone's kind of like just there to have a good time.
It was pretty cool because like you never thought that what you listened to on your MP3 back then, like a scene in Singapore actually exists. So like when you're exposed to that, and like when I was exposed to that, I was like, oh shit, this is really cool lah. You
The
know?
younger kids out there will probably talk about how like 10 years down the road they're gonna talk about their experience if going to decline. Aliwal, that kind of thing. They're gonna talk about the same thing and how it used to make them feel like home. So I think every generation experiences a different thing, and that's what makes underground music great.
It grows with you as a band. So like new bands these days are probably going through the same thing we went through 10 years ago.
Except they don't have spaces like this.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
So the barrier to entry for you to start out as a band is like just pretty much an online presence, and that's all you can do, I feel. Because like the next step is to book a corporate venue and pay a certain amount. There's so many.
Which doesn't work out in their favor because they don't get to play a lot of shows to start with, and and then they get put on, let's say, a big stage to play a show, and then they're not as experienced as they can be.
To me, is a rehearsal space that can house a lot of friends at the same time.